the goal is explained in Bhagavad Gita. The goal is Krishna. And the goal is also explained in the next book we will discuss, the Shi Upanishad. The Shi Upanishad explains especially it emphasizes the personal qualities, transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord, and how to approach Him, how to pray to Him. So that's Sadhya, Krishna. But the Bhagavad Gita does not say much about sadhana or the means to get to the goal. Of course, it explains basic principles, a lot of spiritual techniques, but then how to apply them. That's explained in Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction. So, although the basic principles are there in Bhagavad Gita, the details are not given in Bhagavad Gita. Now, Nectar of Instruction has a number of themes. We will speak about mind and sense control, especially the first verse, which we will discuss today. About attitudes, Srila Prabhupada in the preface says that advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So we will hear about attitude about devotees, different classes of devotees we will learn. We will learn about the guru and disciple relationship. We will learn about sadhu sangha. Very important. How, not just the principle of associating with devotees, but how to associate with devotees, and how to associate differently with devotees on different levels, and how to understand these different levels. All explained in Nectar of Instruction. It's about devotees, different levels of devotees, and especially the first verse, the last verses speak about prema bhakti. So now I want to give a little overview of this Nectar of Instruction. In Srila Rupa Swami, he has a verse in which he describes the different stages of devotional service. In this verse we find in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 4.10. Ada Shraddha Tata Satusanga Ta Bhajana Kriya. So it starts with Shraddha, then Satusanga, and Bhajana Kriya. And then we have Asakta, Tato Narta Nivritasya, Tato Nishta Ruchistata. We have Anartha Nivriti, Nishta, and then Ruchi, and then one comes to Ata Shakti, then Bhava and Prema. These are the stages of Srila Rupa Goswami, and we will discuss them more in detail. These are just the Sanskrit names. But Shraddha means faith. Shraddha is when one starts to understand what's the meaning of life. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I go? And what's the meaning? So then sadhu sangha, that's more the action. How to practice this in association of devotees. Of course, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritta, Nishti, Ruchi, that's more the spiritual treatment we undergo. So in the beginning, we start to practice, and then we practice, and then we have to we will undergo a spiritual treatment. And then, when we attain the goal, that's bhava and prema. Bhava means spiritual emotions. Then, in these higher stages of bhakti, we will experience spiritual emotions and love of Krishna. So this bhava and prema is explained in the last verses of it is from 9 to 11 at the end, bhava and prema. There Srila Rupa Goswami will speak about the gopis. So that's more or less the division of the verses. First is Shraddha, to get faith. And we get faith by the practice of devotional service and by doing 6 things Rupa Goswami says that are favorable for devotees and 6 things that are unfavorable. Bhajana Kriya is the practice that's the beginning of a process of purification of the heart. That Ashakti is when one becomes attached to the spiritual experience, attached to the chanting, attached to every aspect of Shravana, attached to hearing about Krishna. But we will go over that in detail. Now we see that we read the first sentence of Nectar of Instruction. The Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Rupa Goswami. So the Krishna conscious movement, seems Srila Prabhupada right here, it's not conducted under my supervision, it's conducted under the supervision of Rupa Goswami. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is very humble, but there is a reason for that. Who is Rupa Goswami? Who are the 6 Goswamis? 6 Goswamis were direct followers of Lord Chaitanya. And what was their mission? So we know Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya instructed Srila Rupa Goswami in the science of devotional service. He used his devotees to different of these 6 Goswamis and different devotees to explain certain aspects of the process of devotional service. To Rupa Goswami, he explained the science of devotional service. To Sanatana Goswami, he explained the behavior of the devotee, Vaishnava etiquette. And to Ramananda Roy, through Ramananda Roy, he spoke about the love of the gopis, the highest achievement in devotional service. But to the 6 Goswamis, the main thing in their mission was to establish the conclusion of all Vedic literature. the Vedic literature, it's a vast amount of scriptures. And do we have the time to read all these scriptures? No. You need a few 100 years at least to read all these Puranas and all this. But there were a few who did it. It was Markandeya Rishi. He was living 4 days of Brahma, I think. So then you have some time. And Sutta Goswami also had studied all the Puranas. Therefore he was asked by the sage of Namisaranya to speak. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Samriti Sanifishma Mata Smiti Jnanam Apamsa. That's it. Yeah. Then he says, Vedanta Vidavit Vivachaham, that was the third line. Vedasta Sarvarameva Vedya. By all the Vedas I'm to be known, Krishna says. I'm the compiler of the Vedas. And I'm the knower of the Vedas. So Krishna tells us already that you don't have to read all these things. I'm to be known. But where do we find it in the scriptures? So, in Bhagavad Gita, but in so many other scriptures. It's the conclusion of all the Vedas. And in many scriptures you have instructions of devotional service. And the 6 Goswamis, they got the mission to extract everywhere this nectar of the signs of devotional service. This sing Nana Shastra Vicharana Kanipuna Sadharma Samstapaka Lokama Pitakarino Tiruphanem Manya Sharanya Radha Krishna Palara Binda Bhajana Nandena Matalika. Well, this verse says that the 6 Goswamis, they have extracted the essence of devotional service from all other scriptures. Nana Shastra Vicharana Kanipuna. You can see, maybe read the correct translation. Yeah. I offer my respectful obeisance to the 6 Goswamis, namely Srirupa Goswami, Santam Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. They are honored all of the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. So they have studied all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing these religious principles of devotional service for the benefit of everyone. So, by that we don't have to read all the scriptures. Rupa Goswami gives us the essence. And he gives us now the essence in this nectar of instruction. So, the 6 Goswamis, they were representing the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That interesting, if we study the scriptures of our tradition, that mainly Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they stayed in Vrindavan. And they wrote the philosophical basis of our movement based on all these revealed scriptures. The philosophical basis. But then you have they wrote in Sanskrit. They were Sanskrit scholars. That Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. But then you have also a lot of scriptures in Bengali on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. We know Chaitanya Charitamrita, but practically there have been 9 biographies of Lord Chaitanya but they were written earlier. The Chaitanya Charitamrita has been written practically 100 years after Lord Chaitanya has left. You have Murari Gupta was the first who wrote a biography of Lord Chaitanya, and then there were others. What's also famous is Bhakti Swarup. Swarup Damodar. He was in Puri, Lord Chaitanya's secretary and servant, and he kept notes of like they call it kadachas, or anyway, he kept notes on palm leaves. So this is, we can call this the Bengali heritage, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. But then what happened later? Because Krishnadas Kaviraj, he wrote his Chaitanya Charitamrita, which was practically 100 years later. But he used all these other biographies, especially he's referring himself to the Chaitanya Bhagavat from Vrindavan Das Thakur. There's also Chaitanya Mangal from Lokanath Das Swami. These are all earlier scriptures, earlier descriptions of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. But Krishnadas Kaviraj, he combined both the philosophical part from Rupa and Sanatana Goswami and all these biographies, and connected both. So if we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is the highest scripture, because in our tradition, because it combines this deep philosophy which Rupa and Sanatana Goswami gathered from all the other traditions, from all the other scriptures. And then we have these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So that's a very important consideration, because in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, these instructions of Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami, to Sanatana Goswami, they are recorded. We find the nectar of devotion there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The essence is there. Now, what's the purpose of understanding this literature? This literature is given by us by the 6 Goswamis. The purpose is to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So, Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings Rupa Raghunath Padihaika Akuti Kabihame Bhujapi Se Jugala Piriti. When I'm eager to understand the literature given by the 6 Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So, Lord Chaitanya, he opened the doors for Goloka Vrindavan. We have our Guru Parampara, that comes from Madhvacharya, he comes down further to Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri was the first who introduced the worship of Radha and Krishna. That was unheard before in any Vaishnava line, that the Sri Sampradaya was worshipping Lakshmi Narayan in awe and reverence. But this is Radha Krishna. These are the conjugal pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So there is a difference between Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan. In Vaikuntha, these are two divisions of the spiritual worlds. In Vaikuntha, the Lord is worshipped in awe and reverence. And everyone is conscious, yes, the Supreme Lord is Narayan, and they worship him with great opulence, but with awe and respect. But Goloka Vrindavan is different. There, everyone forgets, not really forgets, but is so absorbed in love for Krishna that they forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's like, my Guru Maharaj explained recently that it's like a mother has a son, and the son is the Prime Minister. But when the son comes home, then the mother treats him as her son, not as a Prime Minister. Because they have a different relationship, a more deeper relationship. So, in Goloka Vrindavan, everyone has such a deep relationship that they forget is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these relationships are of different categories. That's, of course, one is a servant that you find also in Vaikuntha. Everyone is serving the Supreme Lord. But then, one is serving the Lord as a friend. Then you are on an equal platform. One puts oneself on an equal platform with the Supreme Lord. That we find out in the Vrindavan pastimes. That thing is Mother Mangal who climbs up the back of Krishna because because Krishna lost in the play, and he had to carry the winner and play on his back and play horse. So this is just beyond our imagination. That this is, but beyond that, a more intense form of love is parental love. Seeing Krishna as your son. Mother Yasoda sees Krishna as her son. Although Krishna showed the whole universe in his mouth, then when she sees the universe in her mouth, a moment she thinks, oh, maybe my son is the Supreme Lord. But then Krishna does not like it and covers her again with Yoga Maya, and Mother Yasoda thinks, oh, my son, and she embraces him. And she thought, I must have got a bad dream. So this is this higher, more intense love, and more intense love is the love of the gopis in Vrindavan. That's conjugal love. That is very intense, these pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But our goal is to understand these transcendental loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the door for that worship. Before, the door of Goloka Vrindavan was locked. You could not get in. But we can get in by following in the footsteps of one of the residents of Vrindavan. And who are the 6 Goswamis? We have Rupa Goswami. On the spiritual platform is Rupa Manjari. The Manjaris, they are servants of the gopis, that assistants. They do not come directly in contact with Krishna, but they are servants of the gopis, and they experience a more intense love than the gopis, because it's in separation. That when one thinks of his beloved, because the beloved is away, it's very intense, the mind fixes on it. But when there's meeting, then this intense longing is not there anymore. So, therefore, the 6 Goswamis were always in the mood of these gopis. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada says in the beginning, this movement is conducted under the supervision of Rupa Goswami. When we follow in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, we can enter in this Goloka Vrindavan. So the gopis are the most elevated devotees. But to come to that point of conjugal love, we need to go to different stages. And the development of the mood of the gopis starts with self-mastery. We have material body, and we have a soul. So, we are a spirit soul having a human experience. Some religions think that's different. They think they are a human being and they have a soul. Yes, I have a soul. But that's something. No, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that human experience is not so good. Because the body is as such. It's temporary. It's full of ignorance. And it's miserable. But the spirit soul in its normal condition is Satchitananda, full of eternal knowledge and bliss. But this absorption in being the body, it's like being intoxicated. If you are intoxicated, then to recover from it, you first must stop drinking. Otherwise, you cannot recover. So we need to give up this body consciousness. The first step in making progress in the science of devotional service, or the process of devotional service, is to give up this body consciousness. Means stop unnecessary sense gratification. Get rid of all uncontrolled body and senses. Get rid of lust, anger, and greed. this identification with the body of this lust, anger and greed is the cause of all our anxieties. That Prahlad Maharaj says to his father, Materna Krishna Pratopata Mito Vipatyete Yapatanam Anandaka Purpisitam Tamisham Punasana Sarpananam Materna Krishna Pratopata. So he said to his father, your inclination for Krishna consciousness will never take place if you remain attached to sense gratification. If you remain in this deep well of sense gratification, Ananda will be all your senses are uncontrolled. And you do always the same stupid things. Again and again. Yes, I'm hungry, I want to enjoy. I want that see the ladu, I want to taste the ladu. If you have then you eat too much ladu, you get an indigestion, and it happens again and again. So we have to stop this. Get rid of an uncontrolled body and senses. Think of what's going on here. It's here. Now, back to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami has received a mission from Lord Chaitanya. In fact, the 6 Goswamis had received this mission. They built temples. They built a lot of temples. If you do parikrama in Vrindavan, you will see a lot of temples in Vrindavan of the Goswamis. They discover places of pastimes. We go to Vrindavan and visit all these places of pastimes because of the 6 Goswamis. They discovered it and they established it on request of Lord Chaitanya. When Sanatan Goswami was in Puri, he had skin disease. Some secretions came out of his body, and he was together with Haridas Thakur, and he avoided to meet Lord Chaitanya because he was thinking, if Lord Chaitanya embraces me, then I'm going to contaminate him with all this. And that's a great offense. But one day Lord Chaitanya came to visit Haridas Thakur and saw Sanatan Goswami, and he embraced him with force. And then after that, Sanatan Goswami was thinking, I committed a great offense to Lord Chaitanya. But then he was thinking, next Ratha Yatra, I throw myself under the rat cart, I commit suicide to get rid of my offense. But Lord Chaitanya, with Lord Krishna and the Superstory in everyone's heart, he knew what of the plans of Sanatana Goswami. He went to Sanatana Goswami and said, do you think your body is yours? He said, no, your body is mine, and I have a lot of plans with you, because I'm in Jagannath Puri, because I promised my mother to stay here. So therefore, my plan is to send you to Vrindavan with this mission of recovering these pastimes, write literature on devotional service, and especially the practice of devotional service. This is the mission of the 6 Goswamis. Yeah. So, who are the most elevated devotees? Remember? The gopis. Okay. Yes. First step in spiritual life that we explained. The body is temporary, the soul is such eternal. You have to give up bodily consciousness. Without sense control, advancement in Krishna consciousness is not possible. Okay. So, control of the senses for making advancement in Krishna consciousness is not easy. But it's a very serious matter. To come to that point, it's a very serious matter. When Ajamil had his near-death experience, when he called his son Narayan, and he was going to leave his body, and then you have this discussion between the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas. The Yamadutas who wanted to drag the soul to Yamaraj to punish him for his sinful life, and the Vishnudutas said, no, you cannot take him. This man is sinless. And the Yamaduta said, sinless? We have all this stuff. What do you mean? And they were going to drag the soul of Ajamil, but then the Vishnudutas cut the ropes. And of course, the Yamadutas were very much frustrated. But then the Vishnudutas said, we think you don't know the principles of religion. And then of course, the Yamadutas felt not very happy with that, because they were instructed by Yamaraj directly, and said, and they asked, what do you think, what are the principles of religion? That's in the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, and the Yamadutas replied, that which is prescribed in the Vedas constitutes dharma, the religious principles, and the opposite of that is irreligion. The Vedas are directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, and are self-born. This we have heard from Yamaraj. So one who follows the Vedas, he follows the principles of religion, and one who does not. But then the Vishnuduta said, that he chanted the holy name of the Supreme Lord offensively. He was cleared from all his sins. Anyway, the pastime goes on, but finally, Ajamil comes out of his near-death experience and remembers everything. And he got 3 benedictions from that. He saw the Vishnudutas, they have the same form as Krishna. If you see Krishna, you can never forget him. You become so attracted. He was always thinking of Krishna. That the second benediction he got was, he remembered all his teachings, and his life was prolonged. He had normally to die, his life was prolonged. He got another chance. If we come to the Krishna conscious movement, we get another chance. But remembering his teachings, he got a determination. He remembered all his sinful activities, and he said, I will never do it again. And that's what we need, this determination. I will never do it again. We will learn in Nectar of Instructions 6 principles that destroy Bhakti. We must come to that commitment. I will never do these things again. So it's a very serious matter. But it's not easy. It's like you are in a boat, and you are rowing, but you are not making progress because the anchor is still there. So you have to lift the anchor. That's the lifting of the anchor. So that's an inner attitude. Srila Prabhupada said advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. This attitude is to be determined to practice sense control. And in the preface, Srila Prabhupada finishes, he speaks about the Goswami. Goswami is one who has learned to control his mind and senses. And here Srila Prabhupada makes the connection with the next verse. So, I will get the next verse. First one. Okay. Now, instruction, text 1. Vatsya vegam, manasakhoda vegam, jiva vegam, utarpasta vegam, etam vegam yo visaita dira, sarvamapimam pitibim asisya. The soul of person can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and urges of the tongue, belly and genitals, that such a person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So, the inner attitude, as in the preface mentioned, depends on our attitude. And Srila Prabhupada is saying here the attitude of the follower, but he speaks about sense control, about nothing else, because that's what the verse, what the preface, what he mentions before and after. So one must be determined to practice this control of the senses. He says, because Swami is one who controls one's senses. Go and Swami. Swami, controller of the go, of the senses. Of course, in Vrindavan you have these directors of these temples, they are also called Goswamis. But that's just the title of a director of a temple, and does not mean they control their senses. That's the real meaning of Goswami. Because those who have conquered their senses, they are not acting for exploitation of this world and give pleasure to their senses. They can come to the platform of pure love. And that's going together. Advancement is easier if we follow the rules. If you drive your car and you go to the red light, what will happen? You'll get a ticket, right? You get misery. Okay? So if we don't follow the rules, we will be miserable. So advancement, but if we follow the rules, then it's easier. So devotional service is easier when we follow these rules. Our advancement will be easier. So 6 urges are being addressed in this first verse by Rupa Goswami. Go back to here. 6 kind of urges. First, vega. What's your vega? What's your speak? Vega, urge. Vega means urge. Urge means urgency. That's urgency, speed. That urge means acting immediately, at once. that there's a difference between desire and urge. We can desire so many things. A desire to go to the Himalayas. Maybe it will never happen. Have a desire that, and an urge that's now, immediately. That, and there are 6 kinds of these urges described. But, 5 kinds. Vacha, Manasa, Krodha. Yeah, Vacha, Manasa, Krodha, Jiva, Udarapasta. This is the Sanskrit. Vacha means words, the urge to speak. That Manasa, the demands of the mind. Krodha, anger, cannot be controlled. Jiva is the tongue. The tongue is going together with one. One vacha is also the tongue. Want to speak nonsense always. Or wants to eat palatable things. Udarapasta are the genitals. So these are these 5 kinds of urges that
Udarapasta is belly and genital.
yeah, belly, udara, pasta, 6. Okay. It's all 6 in every verse. So one who controls these 6, he can take disciples all over the world. So this book is called Upadeshamrita. Upadesh, yes?
Did you say number 5 was Udara is meaning? What is that meaning?
Belly,
Pastor?
genitals.
Both.
Belly, genitals.
Oh, belly, sorry.
It's all in one line. Yes. Speaking, the mind, the tongue, the belly, the genitals. It's all in one. Yeah. It's in one line. So if you cannot control your tongue, you eat too much, then that gives pressures on the belly, and that gives pressures on the genitals. You cannot control any of them. So, Upadesh means instruction. Upadeshamrita are instructions for disciples. That so the Guru, as one who has conquered all these urges. That's so. These are qualifications of a Guru. A Guru has 2 kinds of qualifications. Right here. Regulative qualifications means sense control, and positive qualifications is attachment to Krishna. So, first, we have to do both at the same time. That regulative qualification means controlling these 6 urges. That and the positive qualifications we will learn how we develop by performing activities that attach ourselves to Krishna, that are favorable for developing attachment to Krishna. This attachment is very important. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila Dev, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, instructs his mother, Devahuti, Pasangama Acharam Pasham Atmana Kavayogido. Saiva sadhusukrito moksadvaram apavritam. It says that, yes, attachment to material things is a cause of entanglement for the soul. And to avoid that attachment, we have to follow this regulated qualification of sense control. But that same attachment applied to the sadhu, that's the path of liberation. To the sadhu, or the instructions of the sadhu. So it's all about attachment. Our mind must be attached to something. We cannot stop being attached to something. But if we are attached to Krishna and the devotees, that's the path for liberation. And that's sadhu sangha. Rupa Swami will mention it 2 times in the next verses. He will describe 6 principles which are unfavorable for devotional service. And then 6 principles which are favorable to devotional service. And in both he's saying that avoid the association of non-devotees. We will learn that. So, having attachment to Krishna, we will see that a little later in the Nectar of Instruction. How to deal with different levels of devotees and how to associate with devotees. Because that's central to the teachings of Rupa Goswami. Devotion must be coupled to knowledge, what to do and what not to do. Knowledge and renunciation. But that renunciation is not just giving up this sense gratification. How to control the senses? What can help to control the senses? Maharaj Pariksit in the 6th canto, he asked the question to his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami. He asked, how can these people, or how can people in general that give up all these sinful activities? Because he heard in the previous canto, at the end of the 5th canto, all these hells are described, and all the living entity in his subtle body must suffer so much on the order of Yamaraj, who give them their punishment. So Maharaj Pariksit, his heart is filled with compassion. He said, how can they give up this suffering, avoid this suffering? And then we have Sukadeva Goswami is answering. He says, well, if they perform atonement, then they don't have to suffer. Interesting. Maharaj Pariksit, he says that does not work. That because they do atonement, but then they come free from their reactions, and then they do the same thing again. It does not work. Like was a priest in a local community somewhere in America, and he has been a priest for 15 years. And every Sunday, villagers came confess their sins. And I remember I've done that also. You have to go in a little wooden big cabinet, and then you sit down there, and just at the other side the priest sit in a separate cabinet. You cannot see, and then but he opens a raster so that he can hear you. You cannot see him, he cannot see you. It's supposed to be anonymous. So you confess your sins to the priest, and then the priest gives you the atonement. You chant 20 prayers of Our Father in Heaven, 20 prayers to Maria, and they come out, they do their prayers, and forgiven, it's okay. But after 15 years, this priest was thinking that, because it's anonymous, but it's a little village and knows everyone. So he hears the week after, oh, it's the same again. And they are telling the same sins week after week. And they have to hear that for 15 years. His conclusion was, this does not work. It does not work. They are doing the same thing again and again. And this priest was at that time reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and he joined our movement. So Maharaj Briggs also said it doesn't work. He said, Fascini vastate badrat fasicharati tatpuna prayasitamato partam manye kunsharat chabat. Says, sometimes one is very alert as not to commit sinful acts, is victimized by sinful life again. I therefore consider this process of repeated sinning and atoning to be useless. It's like the bathing of an elephant. So an elephant comes out of the river. I've seen it come out of the Ganga, and then they are in the sand. With their trunks, they take sand, mud, and put it back on there, and there they are dirty again. So it doesn't. It just says that it doesn't work. That's Of course, it's not that the spiritual master said the wrong thing. No, you can answer on different levels of understanding. But now, the spiritual master will give the deeper understanding. And he gives the solution that Keshit Kebalya Bhaktya Vausteva Parayana Agam Dubante Kasnya Nirami Vabaska. Only a rare person